You are now listening to the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Do you love horror movies? Then welcome to Frightmares, a proud member of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network. I'm your host, Austin, and every week myself and a co-host will dive into the world of horror, from legendary classics to hidden deep cuts you might have missed. We kick things off with the latest horror watches, break down the IMDb stats, and take you through a full, in-depth review of the movie. Expect behind-the-scenes fun facts, ridiculous audience reviews, and plenty of laughs along the way. New episodes drop every Wednesday at 6 a.m., so join us on our exploration of the genre one movie at a time, and always remember to stay spooky. This is Frightmares.
Warning! This movie podcast actually discusses movies. Be aware that it may discuss any of the following elements: endings, surprise twists, unexpected cameos, and all manner of spoilers. If this doesn't appeal to you, then why listen to a movie podcast? Without further ado, please enjoy our feature presentation, The Shameless Picture Show.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Shameless Picture Show. I am your host, Michael Viers, and today I am being joined by the always ecstatic and interesting and jovial and never in a bad mood, Jason Hillman. How are you doing, Jason?
That's me. I'm buoyant. Jovial is the perfect word for it. Just a jester cackling into the night, no matter the time of day.
And for those of you
great
listening,
to be here.
For those of you listening who've not listened to any of Jason's episodes before, one, what's wrong with you? Two, Jason is a jack of all trades. He's a photographer. He is a filmmaker. He is a comedian. He is a guy who sits in his basement and watches a lot of cool movies. Am I missing anything?
I mean, you pretty much. I'm a guy, just a guy. You know, that's. Just a guy down in the. I'm a guy meeting world constantly.
You are a regular guy
because of the head injury, mostly.
Oh.
We're always just meeting the world new every day.
Yeah, we are just pulling apart those layers. Jason, this is a weird episode because normally when I have a guest on, we come on with a film that we want to discuss. But me and you have always just kind of kicked around the idea of doing something a little bit more freeform, doing some topic episodes here and there. And this is one of them because let's be real. Like
let's not be fake. Let's be real. Yeah.
If we're being completely honest, we just had one of the strongest years of studio filmmaking that we have had in a very long time, and we've been building to this point since the, I don't want to say de-evolution, but that's what I'm going to choose to say, the de-evolution of the Marvel formula. I feel like audiences have been craving something a little bit different. And then you have studio executives, primarily executives over at Warner Brothers, who are making some really smart decisions, despite the fact that the guy who owns Warner Brothers doesn't want to own Warner Brothers anymore. We have gotten a string of very profitable, interesting films. Some of them are based on existing IP, like something like the Minecraft movie, but then we have a lot of original, interesting takes on films. And, you know, to quote a podcast I know that me and you both listen to, The Big Picture, we are so back.
Yeah.
But there's a caveat to all of that. And I had to take a sip for dramatic effect. The caveat for that is, even despite the fact that there are so many great fucking films, and we can talk about the Academy Awards, because that was, I don't want to say that is what kicked all of this off, but it definitely was the match that made it all explode. Despite all this great film and art coming out, the people talking about it are getting dumber and dumber.
Yeah. And we have, okay, first off, I'm going to acknowledge the first part here. 2025 was the best year of movies that we've had in this decade. Just straight bangers from beginning to end, in every genre you could imagine. The way
Absolutely.
Mom used to make, we one battle after another. Sinners, Weapons, Hamnet, Predator Badlands.
We had F1. We had Train Dreams. We had Marty Supreme and the Smashing Machine. And then we even had some really good big budget spectacle for our eyes. Like, we had Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Right.
Even that last Jurassic World film wasn't the worst. It was probably one of the better of the Jurassic World films. We had Superman. We had...
Oh, that's right. Superman came out that year.
Yeah.
Last year. Just excellent.
Yeah.
And...
like the Minecraft movie was a huge success. I never saw it, but I know people fucking loved that movie. We had K-pop Demon Hunters come out. We had so much shit. And I don't mean shit as in a derogatory way, just so much great stuff coming out.
What was the one you said before K-pop Demon Hunters?
Minecraft.
Before that, which one was it?
Superman.
Yeah, Superman. So the kind of the place where this can start, like, I wouldn't call there's too much discourse. Mm-hmm. That is the impetus for this conversation. There's too much goddamn discourse, because about films that don't exist. And I've always been a fan of film criticism.
It's me too. It's one of the things that we bonded over in this life.
Yeah, I was a kid reading Leonard Maltin's little tiny cinema haikus.
Got my Leonard Maltin tattoo right there.
Mm-hmm. And by all means, I think that art is meant to be dissected, but there's an intensity to it occurring about the films that were the best films of last year, that started to bother me, because it was the first time in a while I was reading a lot of this discourse and a lot of these conversations and a lot of these essays, and they are literally talking about films that do not exist. And it feels like, because of where we are, in the midst of a totalitarian fascist takeover, we are clinging and we are powerless, and we are there's nothing for our voices to do. We are angrier about the points that we're making about these movies than we've ever been, and so desperate to tribalize ourselves over our desire to enjoy movies. And it's destroying. It's a weird time to be into movies, because people have never been angrier about them, more obsessed with them, more insufferable about them, while we're getting the best ones we've gotten in a long time. And Superman's a good jumping off point, because Superman was followed by this. Every time there's a new DC property, you get the resurrection of the Snyder Bros.
Yeah,
and they'll just talk about Man of Steel, and they'll talk about it like it's this incredibly dense, layered epic about an alien who is doing his best to fit into a world that rejects him, and how he had to make the ultimate sacrifice and kill one of his own to save the world. And Batman versus Superman is an epic God versus God, or God versus person who's been defeated by gods, and has devoted his life to destroying them. and la 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 la. And they talk about these movies that they Man of Steel sucks.
Yeah.
Man of Steel, you know what? It's just fine. It's literally just fine. And the hyperbole that we lay at the doorstep of some of these things is destructive, I think, because it doesn't allow us to just watch things for what they are. And it allows people like Zack Snyder to continue posting stills from movies that are 15 years old, like anyone care. Like I care.
Yeah. And then there was this general, like, when James Gunn first took over DC, there was a lot of good faith originally, because look what the man did for the Marvel universe. Here you had a series of films that were all under the direction of Kevin Feige, for better or for worse. And I'll give the man credit where credit's due. He pulled superheroes out of an extreme fucking rut and did something with them that people were trying to replicate for a very long time. Everything had to be this Avengers style story. So I'll give that man a lot of fucking credit for what he did. However, because everything is kind of falling under his control, you get a lot of the same. And you had James Gunn over there doing those Guardians films, still finding ways to interweave them with the grander narrative, but still keeping his own unique voice. Even Edgar Wright couldn't do that because Edgar Wright got so frustrated he left. James Gunn learned how to play within the system while still making something uniquely his, to the point that he got canceled. Still found his way back because Batista called Disney not a Nazi enough times that they listened to him. So I don't know. I was one of the people who was very excited and still am when he took over DC, but people turned on him so fucking fast just based on snippets from trailers, like you said, of movies that didn't exist.
If I was 12 when I saw Man of Steel and BVS, I would have thought that they were the greatest things I've ever. I would also assume complexity where there is none. You know what I mean? Like there's.
And don't get me wrong, I have a soft spot for Batman v Superman. Like, I think it's a really dumb film. This is a really dumb film I happen to have fun watching, but I don't think it's that good.
I think that the obsession with those films and the way that that generation lifts them up is a distinct consequence of the privilege of living in the U.S., of being part of Western imperialist society, because you can convince yourselves when you have nothing to fight for, when everything is pretty good, you can pretend like stuff like Man of Steel and BVS are some super deep dissertations on being a god amongst humans. It's basically baby's first Nietzsche, right? It's like,
yeah,
it's Superman gazing into the abyss, and what happens when it gazes back, and it's Darkseid, our side, or whatever the fuck his name is. I don't care. So those are my first experiences with people talking about movies that don't exist. It started with superhero movies. I mean, you could say it started with Gamergate, the way that we started assigning values and intentions on people that did not exist so we could perpetuate our own point of view, regardless of whether it was good or not.
Yeah.
But that's a longer conversation that involves talking about how almost every culture war that we've experienced over the last 15 years has been a psyop developed for us by cannibal vampire pedophiles. Almost literally every single object of contention over the last 15 years was designed by like Epstein and Steve Bannon and Peter Thiel and the guy from Xbox. And even though we're on the right side of history, I'm on the right side of those issues. But the fact that I even took a side meant I was being manipulated by, again, I can't stress this enough, cannibal pedophile vampires who continue to rule everything. Anyways, because those guys run the world, because of our powerlessness, I think what has happened is we have transferred all of our energy that we have on the political stage, and we've decided to attack each other for just liking movies.
Mm-hmm.
And the energy that I've seen between the DC and the Marvel and stuff like that, all of a sudden was like being used to weaponize having thoughts about Sinners and One Battle After Another this past year, which became this like white versus black issue where
Yeah.
I kept reading essays about these movies where they assigned intention to these characters and the director and the movies themselves, that the movies did not display themselves.
No. And then it also became like the fact that we got both One Battle After Another and Sinners in the same year. Movies of that caliber that are that good, that movie, and have that much to say should be rejoiced, but instead it's just become a lot of, oh, you liked One Battle After Another? Well, that movie's the worst movie I ever saw. Or vice versa, because I've also seen it. I've seen it on both sides of whatever you think about it. People just, I can't say no one, because me and you are examples of this, but so few people are struggling with the concept that you can like both. It's okay.
It is I mean, to be real reductive, this is Donald Trump's fault. This is MAGA's fault, because we are in the position that we are in now. Our powerlessness has led us to each other's throats over art. I think the themes of both those films are pretty on the surface and should be rejoiced and should be respected as such, because those themes are resonant and powerful.
Mm-hmm.
From the metaphorical to the completely on the nose and in your face. If we want to, like, let's address them separately. Sinners, clearly about colonial vampirism,
Mm-hmm.
and the theft of black art at the behest of like naive seeming and just like good jolly white people throughout history.
Yeah.
Also, ripping fucking vampire movie, guys,
Yeah.
with just a celebration of fucking black art in your face with one of the most jubilant scenes in cinema I've seen in years, with the middle scene, with the history of music, basically.
Yeah, that's saying. I saw that in an IMAX theater, not an official IMAX, but the one that we got here in Wisconsin, and it fucking melted me.
And One Battle After Another isn't that dissimilar in the ways in which the white people are incompetent. They're silly. They're goofy. They're feasting off of the revolutionary energy of their betters. Lockjaw is a fucking loser who wants to be loved by other fucking losers, and he's willing to kill his half-black kid because he's a fucking loser so he can be part of the losers club. And the only people who are doing any actual work in the movie for the revolution are black and brown people. And the biracial girl saves the day.
Mm-hmm.
Things just happen to Bob.
Yeah.
Except towards the end.
Yeah.
But like those, sorry.
No,
it's right on the surface. And I feel like I don't know. It's just the conversation about the fetishization of people and the Jezebel trope. I swear to, I cannot see how that applies to that movie. It just has characters who happen to be black being bad people, but that's the point. Mm-hmm. Is you can be bad and be part of the revolution and be part of the solution and be the problem. There's not it confuses me to see people get so angry at plot points and characterizations that aren't on the screen and aren't on the script. And it was the same with Sinners too, because people are like, it's just from dusk till dawn, Rip. Mm-hmm. You only like it because you just want to seem woke, the woke vampire movie. Like you are missing out.
Yeah.
How big is the gaping void in your fucking soul that you can't let a movie just roll you down the street? You know what I mean? Just like, it just rips. It's just an extraordinary film, and just sit back and enjoy it, bro. But you're so fucking filled with hate, and just you lack so much joy.
Yeah, well,
How can you wake up like this every day? Ugh.
it's also been this interesting thing too, because there's almost, with both of those movies to some extent, it almost feels like a Taylor Sheridan type deal, in that when Yellowstone first came out as a television show, people lost their fucking minds because it felt like prestige television for people who've never watched prestige television. And like, I have family members who are like, who knew TV could be this good? And it's like, it's and I've seen
the West Wing for people with thin blue line stickers on their oxygen tanks.
But I've seen this whole thing with both films where there's been this intensive deep dive study on every glance and nuance that Michael B. Jordan gives in Sinners, but then they don't understand, anyone doesn't, like the people who are watching that film who are against One Battle After Another can't see it beyond surface level. But I've seen the same thing happen with people who are ride or die on One Battle After Another and are dismissing Sinners, do this exact same thing. And it's also just been really upsetting just to see the really stupid like conclusions that people are drawing. I saw one on Threads the other day, which I think Threads is kind of how a lot of this came to be in terms of conversation.
Gotta get off Threads if you want to be happy.
This conversation pretty much spawned because of it. I saw someone like the night that One Battle After Another won at the Oscars, in which, by the way, I saw so many people. Obviously, they were upset that Sinners didn't win Best Picture, but almost belittling every other award. I saw someone legitimately call the Ryan Coogler's Best Original Screenplay win as a consolation prize. That's just insulting to every writer out there. But when One Battle won, I saw this one person going on about how creepy Paul Thomas Anderson is, and because he referred to who's the star of One Battle? I can't think of her name right now.
Tiana Taylor?
No, the other one. Chase Infinity. Referred to Chase Infinity as his American Girl, and someone's like, that's just a really creepy comment. It's like, clearly you didn't see the movie, because the movie ends with American Girl as a needle drop. Pay attention. You're adding layers to this that don't exist because you're looking for reasons to hate it. And like I said, it's the same reductive discussion as just trying to refer to Sinners as from Dusk Till Dawn ripoff.
It's one of the worst things that I've seen recently. It's people who post, I can't believe that one won. I can't believe
Can someone explain? Can someone explain?
I sat there for like 5 minutes and I was like, this is disgusting. I can't stand this. And when people would post that about One Battle, I'd be like, so which part of the freeing prisoners from the ICE facility did you hate the most? You're like, that's not what I was talking about. I was like, that's the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Which part about that did you hate the most? I just hate the way that they treated blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't happen until later. So clearly you didn't actually watch the movie and you're allowing people to tell you how to feel and what to think. And these are intellectual fucking losers, man. Like, how can you... And I think I said this when we had the podcast about One Battle After Another.
Yeah.
It is not up to me to tell you that how you feel about a specific character is wrong, even though that's kind of what I'm doing. But it's you're not taking the movie. They're not taking art at face value, and that's when I get annoyed by people reacting to art. You watched the movie in its entirety and you have some thoughts. I want to hear them.
Yeah,
but it's very clear that a lot of the people who are having thoughts on these movies aren't actually watching all the way through or aren't watching the movie at all. It's that they heard some things about the movie or they've heard some things about characters in them and they've decided to make it their personality to hate the thing that they've heard about. But that's not you. I feel like we're missing out on the experience of hate watching something. If you've heard something is bad, watch it and realize why you hate it.
Yeah.
If you realize something is bothersome or problematic, watch the thing and figure out for yourself why it's problematic or if you agree with them. This is the like the sub level of analyzing art.
Yeah.
And we are in a dearth of of insightful, intelligent analysis of the products that we are released to us. And what we have instead is a population of reactionaries.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, I am hypocritical because now we are on a podcast reacting to the reactionaries. And I'm getting angry at the people who are angry about the angry things.
Yeah, and one thing I want to stress is it's not that because One Battle After Another and Sinners were one of my top 2 films of 2025.
They're some of the greatest movies made in the last 10 years.
Yes, absolutely.
Straight up.
And while I think for just my preferences, I put One Battle After Another above Sinners, but that's not to take away from either film. Now, the reason I like film criticism is because I like seeing different perspectives. So even though One Battle After Another it was my favorite film of the year, I'm not expecting everyone to like it. In fact, I like reading criticism from people, a well thought out criticism from people who did not like the film, because I have read some really interesting points about reasons why someone may or may not have liked One Battle After Another. People who actually finished the entire film, who have been able to put together thoughts and not just regurgitating other things other people have said. And that's one of the reasons I like film criticism, because I want to see all those different perspectives. So I don't care if someone doesn't like the film. What I care about is whether or not someone has something interesting to say about the film. And I just feel like we're at this point where someone read someone say that One Battle After Another is racist, and instead of watching the entire movie and really trying to put that together themselves, they get reactionary and be like, "Oh, I put together in first 15 minutes of this everything this person said is true." It's like, well, did you watch the film? Did you compose your own opinion? I'm also a firm believer of not reading film criticism until after I've actually finished watching the fucking movie.
Right.
Because I also don't want that perspective to affect me. So, yeah, like I said, I like I don't want to say bad. I like the negative thoughts on films. I just want it to come from a place of intellectualism.
Intellectual authenticity.
Yes.
Is what I want to read is analysis of characters, motivations, narrative that come from a place of honesty instead of anger. And when I will loop back around to the original, foundation of this, which is that we start talking about, because we're arguing back and forth, because we're talking about things that are bigger than the movies. And that's the problem. We are talking about things that are bigger than a film can handle. And we are putting the weight of these kinds of moral, cultural conversations onto stupid art.
Mm-hmm.
And because we can't have these conversations, because we again are powerless in the face of this kind of seemingly endless onslaught of terrible news. America is slowly morphing into the world's most isolated and ugliest whites-only diner. Mm-hmm. And so we have nowhere to put our energy. And so fascism demands and depends on neighbors turning against each other, against communities turning against each other, and people turning against each other. And so we are at each other's throats about things as simple and beautiful as art. One Battle After Another is beautiful and brilliant and timely, and Sinners is beautiful and brilliant and timely. Somehow Weapons is also beautiful, brilliant, and timely. We are going into these things, and by we, I mean people who are angrily dismissing these things without giving them much of a thought. We are projecting our feelings our inadequate feelings, our feelings of weakness, of powerlessness onto totems, basically. One battle after another has become this totem for the way that we feel society is treating Black women. But Paul Thomas Anderson's personification script with Black women in it, which was agreed upon by Black women and was acted out by Black women who had a great time and a great experience in this movie.
Who also were given a lot of freedom to ad-lib and improv.
Right. Like, but this idea that Paul Thomas Anderson hates women, hates Black women, loves white dudes, loves racism, is racist, hates his daughter, like all of this, like this is the same thing with Ryan Coogler, hates white people, doesn't respect white music, doesn't respect white culture, doesn't like all of these. We're projecting all of our feelings onto art.
Well, it's the same thing that they were saying about Jordan Peele even just a couple of years ago. You know, they were talking about aspects of his films and just assume, wow, Jordan Peele clearly doesn't like white people because all of his films are about racism, yada yada yada. And it's like, you guys are being reductive.
Incredibly reductive, yeah. There's no way that art we're so far beyond the point where art can solve our problems. But we use them as a totem for a projection of our feelings of weakness in the face of this slow fascist apocalypse that we're going through. And that's it. That's my point. As I feel like we're talking about films that don't exist, that aren't addressing the things you're talking about, or can't solve them. And I think that people are missing out on enjoying great art because they're too busy using them as punching bags for greater societal problems that we can't fix because we've been rendered moot and mute by forces greater than ourselves. We're incredibly angry. We're incredibly stressed out. We're all tightly wound. And I feel like we need to be using our art to relieve ourselves of this pain instead of using it to attack each other. And this is why Project Hail Mary exists. We just need to all just rally around Ryan Gosling and his rock buddy.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like it's interesting that movie comes out now because it's a simplistic plot.
Yeah.
The society needs to come together. They're sending out their best to go fix a problem, and then he meets a guy from somewhere else that also needs to fix a problem, and they come together to fix a problem. Huzzah! Yeah,
it's Star Trek. That's the type of shit Star Trek would do.
Yeah. I just feel like we're getting into a place where we just don't. We're so busy analyzing, and it's not just like I used one battle after another in Sinners. Because that's the thing that people were screaming at each other the most about.
Absolutely, but it's not exclusive to them. It's not exclusive
all
to
across
those
the board. I mean, we just don't appreciate things. There's no whimsy for them. Spider-Man just dropped a brand new day trailer. It actually looks incredible. Spider-Man, Peter Parker's depressed and suicidal. We couldn't be more back. But there's a shot from inside of his mask that I think is a very clever visual device to show how empty and sad he feels at the moment. And there are people arguing on threads about like, oh, that's such a stupid shot. It's like you couldn't even fit a camera in there. And like, what are we talking about here?
Well, it kind of goes down to this thought that I wanted to bring up for this conversation, because ultimately when this comes down to this conversation is about film discourse and how it's changed in a way that I think for the worst. One, I feel like there's just this, and I completely understand that sometimes you need to be in the mood for a certain type of film, but I also feel like we're at this point where I think people struggle with when a movie challenges them and it makes them feel things and they don't like that feeling.
Right.
Like I said, the simple fact that because Paul Thomas Anderson put a character like Lockjaw in his film, that there's people being like, well, clearly this is what the film's about, because why would you put a racist in a movie if you're not racist? Like, that's not how this works. But the way that we analyze, the way that we engage with film and film media is so different. The reason someone like Patrick H. Willems on YouTube is such a breath of fresh air is because he's engaging with film and art in a way that is nuanced and interesting and also funny. But then the fact that there's hundreds of videos, probably right now after that Spider-Man trailer dropped, of people who are going to pick apart every frame of that trailer and come up with all these theories, and they're about nothing. People are we are in a mindset where we pick apart film more than we ever did before, but we still manage not to have anything to say. Are people talking about theme when they talk about Spider-Man? No. They're talking about, well, he's wearing this suit, which is a clear indication that that's a reference to this Spider-Man comic from this year, who was written by this thing. So this must be people are so focused on they think they're focused on story. They're really not. They're focused on weird little details and plot holes. And God damn, do I hate people talking about plot holes, because they never know what the fuck a plot hole actually is. They just think if something is not explained to them, it's a fucking plot hole. And why do we care so much? We don't talk about the pathos behind a character. We don't talk about performance. Well, one, people don't understand performance. They just think if they don't like someone, it's a bad performance. There's so much nuance that we could be discussing, and it's just plot holes and details.
I'm kind of thinking about the origins of this, because our ability, it seems like our ability to parse nuance and subtlety and theme and it.
And I should also point out too that it's not to say inherently talking about story and plot and details is bad, but that's all anyone is engaging with, or just people truly, they want to talk about story and plot and the way things are written, but they don't understand structure or even the job that a writer does. There's just these knowledge gaps that exist. Love or hate his opinions on film, one of the best people to ever write about film was Roger Ebert. Yeah, he could be a troll at times, and I love when he was a troll, even if he was shitting on movies that I loved. But he could talk about all these elements so effectively and make really compelling points one way or another. And sometimes he'd just be a troll. It's, you never know.
Again, hypocritically, I think the problem is we used to have respect for a person like Roger Ebert, but now everybody thinks that they have the ability to be Roger Ebert. Everybody assumes there is no expertise in something. Opinions have been democratized, as it were. I think the issue, my silence is I'm trying to formulate this thought. I don't think the problem is that we can't agree on reality. Mm-hmm. We are constantly under threat of having more illusions in the real world pulled out from under us. And we can't agree on what is real in the real world. And if we can't come to an agreement about what is real in the real world, how are we supposed to agree about what a person is doing inside of a piece of art? And I think that is we can't. What I'm seeing is a lot of confrontational. It's this is my opinion, and I'm not going to change it. And come at me in the comments if you want. Blah blah blah. Come for me. You're not going to change my mind, because we have people have convinced themselves that a thing is a thing, regardless of whether it is that thing. And they're going to stand by that thing because their reality is their reality. We don't have a shared reality.
No, and what's so annoying too about that exact element you just mentioned, where people will make those rage baity posts. So often they'll state an opinion, treat it as fact, and say, no, I will not be explaining myself. Explain your fucking self. If you have this
fun you can have.
Yeah, if you have this hot take, explain how the fuck you got there. Because if not, then it's bullshit.
And it's always falling down on a therapy speak too. It's like, I don't owe you an explanation. It only has to make sense to me. Not if you're making a public fucking declaration, my man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I think I just find film discourse insufferable. And I mean, I'm part of the problem. I have an insufferable film podcast that I'm trying to figure out how to bring back. And one of the reasons I had stopped it was because like it felt weird to join that. But I miss it, so I'll get back into it. But I try to have like I try to give something a chance at the very least, and I try to look at it from a wide, objective perspective before I formulate an opinion on it. And I certainly am not swayed by other people's opinions about things. I think there is sort of a return to the kind of singular enjoyment for me sometimes, because I used to love that kind of shared experience and reading other people's thoughts on it. But like even starting with The Last Jedi, I remember I came out of that movie like, this is the greatest thing I've ever. This is the most Star Warsiest Star Wars I've ever seen. I cannot wait to get on the internet to share the good news. And boy, did I find out that I'm a dickless moron.
You and me
for
both.
just enjoying a silly Star Wars movie. And that's the kind of extremities that we have now, where things are just like, oh, you like that movie? You're a piece of shit. Oh, you didn't like that movie? You're an asshole and an idiot.
Well, we're moving towards this. I don't necessarily want to say it's a monoculture because but I'm getting my terms mixed up. But essentially, we're moving to this world where either everything is the greatest thing you've ever seen or it's the worst thing you've ever seen. So, obviously, I spend a lot of time on Letterboxd. And Letterboxd, while my favorite app, is definitely the reason a lot of these opinions exist. Because, someone can just write, this movie slaps and it gets 1 million views. And then someone writes a really thoughtful piece and it gets like 2. But, that's just how the internet works. I love the app, but, I try to come at my rating system with a little bit of nuance. I could love a movie and doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get a 5-star rating, because I try to think of it as like, well, is the movie actually good, or what, is it well made? Are there, what are the elements that I'm reacting to? Just, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
And for me, I'll give something like, I gave Clueless, for example, 3.5 stars out of 5. To me, it's a pretty solid fucking rating for a movie, especially a movie where there are incestual overtones and a weird age difference between the two characters. Like, solid rating considering those strikes against it. I had so many people come at me because they're like, what do you mean this isn't 5 stars? Like, 3.5 is really fucking good. Get off my back. But people, unless it's 5 stars or it's 1 star, like, nothing exists in between for a lot of people.
And I mean, that's the death of the monoculture. There used to be a gray area and a mid place for like, that movie was fine.
Yeah.
What a good movie to catch on a matinee on a Tuesday. You can
enjoy a movie that's fine too.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Like, it doesn't have to be a high rating for you to enjoy it.
Yeah, the extremities of feeling toward, like, I've watched quite a few movies in the last couple of months that have been just fine. The kind of stuff that I would have seen at like on a matinee on a Saturday in 1998.
Mm-hmm.
And things were allowed to be just fine before. But as our personalities get strip mined, as our ability to define ourselves within the market gets stripped from us, as the foundations of our personalities is destroyed by kind of the stripping of the illusion of society, right? Does that make sense? Like, everything that we've known, that we've defined our lives by, has basically been taken from us in the last 5 years. The illusion of the great American society. And people have started, it feels like people have started defining their lives, their personalities, their entire approach by those extremities. And so their personality is like, so we're defending things and we're attacking things with more fervor than we ever had before. like you said. You can't just enjoy something. It can't just be bad or good. It has to be the worst goddamn thing that the movies has ever seen,
Mm-hmm.
or the greatest thing that anybody's ever seen.
Yeah.
Like one battle after another. I saw that I've saw it like 6 times, and I saw it with one buddy who was like, "That was pretty good.
Yeah,
I like that." I haven't shut the fuck up about it for damn near 8 months.
Yeah,
And he thought it was just fine.
Me
and
you saw it together, and you had already been talking to me for a couple months about it.
Right. And what I saw when I saw it originally was an incredibly wide-ranging group of people packed into an auditorium having a communal experience with one another. And that was the first time I had felt that in a movie in a very long time. And I was like, we're so back.
Mm-hmm.
Only to find out months later that actually I was wrong and bad and immoral for loving this film that I thought was really important.
Yeah.
And same thing with Sinners. I personally think Sinners is pretty good. And there are moments in it that transcend the form, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wish we didn't even have to talk about this. I wish it was just like, oh man, last year was such a good year for movies.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. And the problem is, I'm the problem too. I'm chronically online. I'm constantly reading these opinions. I'm constantly getting mad. When I already have my opinion about the thing, I already know how I feel about the thing. Why do I have to seek out other people's oppositional opinions about it and then get mad about it to the degree that I now have to talk on a podcast about it? And I think that's like that. The answer to that is like, we need to stop being angry at art.
Mm-hmm.
Stop internalizing all this fear and hopelessness and pain and empathy that has nowhere to go. And we need to be more aware of each other.
Yeah.
We're at the point in society where there usually would be a revolution, and we're not there yet. We're just attacking each other.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're using our art to do it. And I think that's a dangerous place.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point of this entire ramble, all of this kind of back and forth, is that I think we're in a dangerous place where we're utilizing our art that's supposed to heal us and bring us together and make us feel better. We're using it to hurt each other. We're using it to attack each other. We're using it to call each other stupid and bad. And it's something like one battle after another in Sinners should be celebrated. And we should be proud and grateful that we still live in a world where these things are being made. And instead, we're using them as cudgels to further separate ourselves from each other and to malign each other and get further away from each other. And I think that's a serious issue. And I don't know how to address it. I don't know how to fix it. We just got to keep on rambling on, right? Just because we'll be arguing about something new later.
Well, I think one thing that it's not going to fix it, but I do have a solution that I think would help a lot of people is just enjoy a movie without being online. Put your phone out of reach. That's one thing you could do. Another thing that I think more people should do is watch the movie all the way through. Be challenged. If there's something you're not responding to, see how the movie resolves that. See how you feel at the end of it, because I don't know. I don't care what anyone says. Anyone who tells me that they can decide within the first 15 minutes whether or not they like a movie hasn't seen enough movies. Perfect example. A movie that I love now is a movie called The Passion of Darkly Noon. For any of you Brendan Fraser fans out there, early 1995 psychological horror film directed by Philip Ridley. At the beginning of the film, me and Amanda were both together being like, wow, this movie is terrible. It's not very good. It's hard to watch. By the time the movie ended, we were both like, this movie's a masterpiece. And we went through that ride. We had to go through that ride to come out on the other side. Another thing that I think people should stop doing, if there's a movie you're interested in, you want to see, stop going online and being like, about to watch Train Dreams, what do y'all think? No.
Oh, I hate that so much.
Just watch the fucking movie.
Yeah. Is this worth watching?
Is
I
this
heard a
worth?
bunch of stuff about this. Is this worth watching?
Is it worth my time? Anything is worth your time. Just go into it. Like you
Right.
should know whether or not something is of interest to you. For example, if you don't like pool, you're probably not going to enjoy The Hustler. But at the same time, maybe you will, because maybe you'll find something in it. Maybe you'll find it's more than just being about pool. Perfect example, Marty Supreme. So many people were like, do I really want to watch this Timothy Chalamet ping pong movie? It's not about ping pong. Ping pong's in it, but that's not what the movie's about.
Well, so the discourse around Marty Supreme, and I want to make it very clear here, I did not like that movie.
Oh, I did.
do not think it's a good movie. I think that it exposes Josh Safdie as a one-trick pony who desperately needs his brother.
Oh, it's interesting because a lot of
to
people online
infuse-
feel the other way around. That's interesting.
I think that The Smashing Machine is a much more heartfelt, emotional, empathetic movie.
Yes.
With a better central performance at its core, because Timothy Chalamet doesn't have to try very hard to be.
Let me tell you,
Marty.
I loved Marty Supreme, but I still agree with you in all of those points.
But in hearing the discourse about Marty Supreme was the same problem, which is like, how am I supposed to watch this movie if I can't empathize with this guy? Oh, I'm just going to watch a movie about a psychopath? Yeah, man. Watch the movie about the psychopath. Watch the movie, watch the character type, and then form an opinion about it. You're not being, I can't watch a movie where I don't like the central protagonist. Why? Why is that such so antithetical to your soul? Like, why can't you just?
Well, perfect example of that is I just recently rewatched A Streetcar Named Desire. No one's likable in that movie, but I can't take my eyes off of it. Everyone sucks in that movie.
Fight Club. Everybody sucks.
Yeah.
Everybody sucks in Fight Club. Everybody sucks. Kind of. Everybody sucks in Heat. Everybody's terrible in that movie.
Yeah.
They're all bad guys. The Dark Knight. People that are like, I just want to watch the world burn. The Joker's the bad guy, right? Also Batman is the bad guy. Gordon's also bad. Harvey's also bad. It's about bad people doing. It's about the various versions of bad. Mm-hmm. Like, interpret art. I'm begging you guys. You don't have to like people to like a movie. Jack Dawson from Titanic is a terrible person.
Yeah.
He is a rat man.
Yeah.
Hooking up with another terrible person. I'm reaching here. But like, I didn't like this person. I didn't like that person. It's a bad movie. Well, that's not why I don't like Marty Supreme. I think Marty Supreme is very competently made. It's just, Sylvester Stallone's over the top for the Adderall bougie class.
That's the best description I've heard of that movie.
It's trying to make art out of goofiness, but we demand to have our emotional needs catered to by our art instead of allowing our emotions and our personalities to be challenged by the art that we watch, and it's depressing to see that. And that's not everybody.
Yeah,
not everybody's like that. I'm just surrounded by it at all times because I'm chronically online.
Yeah, and like I have done a pretty good job of for example, going back to Letterboxd, I've tailored my Letterboxd to only opinions and voices that I want to see. Like opinions and voices that I respect. Because if I want to see what the general populace thinks, when I click on review, I'll just go to everyone. But when after I finish the movie, I want to know what people that have something to say, I want to know what their thoughts and opinions were. Because there's people I follow who, and me and you do this all the time when we hang out, I'll follow people who will completely dunk on a movie I love. And sometimes they make great points, sometimes they don't, sometimes they're witty, sometimes they're not. But I just like hearing different opinions. Like, imagine if the way that... So, a lot of this is, like, my experience with this is mostly comes down to the world of film culture and film criticism. But I wouldn't be surprised if music and traditional art, the way that people were engaging with those mediums, I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same way. Imagine if people talked about the Mona Lisa the way that they're talking about sinners in one battle after another. It would be insufferable. What do you mean you think she's smiling? What are you, fucking dumb? And like, I don't know, like I watch a lot of stuff. I watch a lot of movies, not as much TV. I'm more of a movie guy, but and not everything's amazing, and that's okay. You know, sometimes a 3-star movie is just what I needed in that moment. I watched Black Phone 2 a week ago, and that's a 3-star movie, and that's okay.
Oh my God. I just watched the Black Phones a couple weeks ago, and Black Phone 1 is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have no idea what is going on in the second one. What a
But
it's a swing though, and I
it was
appreciate
ballsy, and I appreciate a ballsy movie.
Yeah. I don't always like a swing. But like let's look at Tron Ares.
Okay, I've not
That's
seen
an
that one
example.
yet, but I'm familiar with it.
It's fine.
Yeah, that's
It
how
is
you
so-
described it to me.
It is so aggressively fine. And yet people are like, it's so bad. It's so dumb. It's so la la la. I'm not sure what you're expecting from your Tron movies. It's funny when I think about Letterboxd, because if I truly despise the movie, you'll get an essay out of me, which makes me very hypocritical again. If I thought the movie was just fine, it's usually like 3 lines. Scream 7 got like 7 paragraphs from me. Because it's a terrible movie.
Do you remember when we watched Terrifier 2 together?
Terrified. Yeah. I maybe
You
wrote
wrote-
one of the longest movie reviews of
Yes.
my life.
And it's still one of my favorite things that I've read that you've written. So,
Thank you. Yeah.
and here's the thing: I'm not a overly negative person. I'm a pretty lenient critic in a lot of ways because I don't view myself as a critic necessarily. In some ways, I'm still kind of under the impression that if there was at least one good scene, it wasn't a waste of my time. Hell, even a movie that I sent you a picture of that I got in as a review copy recently. That movie, Not Without Hope, the new Joe Carnahan film starring Zachary Levi and Josh Duhamel. Like, even looking at that poster, I'm like, this movie's not going to be very good. But I'm sure it'll be at least like a Sunday afternoon watch.
that movie would make $80 million. Well, that movie would cost $10 million and make $25 million to $30 million in 1997.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a movie that would, without even seeing it, would be ripping on TNT.
That's Joe Carnahan's bag, man. I can't wait to watch that movie.
Yeah. Let's plan a day.
That's the thing is Terrifier 2 was one of those, I was angry at it, and I wrote an angry thing. Well, I wasn't angry, but like I thought it was bad.
We were
And I
both
wrote
really bored.
And I wrote a thing about it. But what I'm writing about is the movie that exists.
Yeah.
I'm just talking like about the movie that exists on its surface. On its surface level, it gave me these characters and defined them for me. And I wrote according to how I was presented the information, which brings us back to our original point, is that discourse has gotten so extreme is that we've started... There's this thing where people make a movie that they think that should exist in their head.
Mm-hmm.
And then they write about that.
Mm-hmm.
Or they write about what they think the intention, like
or they, to use an old professional wrestling joke, they'll work themselves into a shoot where they have these strong opinions about what the movie should be because they fan wrote it in their head, and then they're mad that it's not.
That is definitely a new thing. And that is what happens when you reward the fandom and you pander to a fandom by making movies directly aimed at people to tell you that you're a good special boy for doing the thing that they want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't used to have that.
Well, it's gotten...
Back in my day, you took what you got.
Well, it's gotten so much worse now that the studios have proven that enough backlash will turn them spineless. Remember the whole fucking Sonic debacle? Where the fans essentially roasted the studio so hard that they went back and changed the design. And Sonic, there's still fans online who truly believe that they have the power now because of that. Because not only did the studio change the design, but it was a big fucking hit. So then fans are like, well, clearly we're right.
And to be fair, this one time they were.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I didn't like the original design for Sonic, but it's it's that it feels like that guy you knew in high school who did one cool thing once and will never stop talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how this comes across.
Yeah, it's a pampered, privileged culture that is constantly being pandered to, having to face the consequences of narratives that don't cater to their specific emotional needs, throwing tantrums in the DMs and on Letterboxd is exactly what we're talking about. Because back to Sinners in One Battle After Another. And listen, One Battle After Another is the loosest adaptation of Vineland. I've tried to read Vineland, and it is a hallucinogenic gobbledygook from one of our greatest purveyors of such.
Yes.
But they are dynamic, original properties using well-worn tropes and situations to present a new paradigm of interpreting historical things. Boy, I didn't know if I was going to make it to the end of that sentence. But historical things. Revolution and expropriation and colonialism and all that jazz. They're challenging movies. And I think what they exposed was that there's a lot of people who are very angry about being challenged. You said something to that effect earlier, and it's true. We're just selfish spoiled assholes.
Yeah,
and we used to be able to externally express that in a cultural way, and we don't get to do that anymore because our culture is falling apart. And so we're going inwards, and it's not healthy, and it's producing bad takes.
Yeah, and like that's honestly what film discourse is becoming. Just hot takes, and that's what people want, or that's what they think they want. And I don't even know. Like I grew up reading film criticism. When I got my first copy of Roger Ebert's The Great Movies, I read that thing cover to cover, even if I hadn't seen the movie. I just wanted to read how people engaged with film, because I think, we can start wrapping up soon, but I think another part of this is, since people aren't engaging with film discourse, like true film discourse, there's this sense of viewing everything within a bubble. And that's not even just with film and art, and it just in general. People like, I didn't like this film. I'm only going to respond to other people who didn't like this film. I'm not going to read other opinions. I didn't like this film. That's all it is. And also, since there's no sense of understanding of film history, there's just really this, like, that's all it is. Like, here's my gut reaction, and that's all I'm going to acknowledge, and that's all I'm going to understand. And that's a problem. Because, yeah, I feel like if a modern film audience watches something like the original Godfather, they might feel weird about it, because it's like they've seen all the tropes since then. They've seen all the films inspired by it, but they have no sense of where film was when that movie came out and why that movie was such a big deal. Or, Citizen Kane or Rear Window. They don't understand. They just watch it in this bubble, be like, I didn't like it, I didn't respond to it, without understanding what the world was like when that piece of art came out.
We are detached. We are becoming disconnected from our culture.
Yes.
As we descend further and further into a hell of subscription-based existence, we don't own anything, we don't hold anything, we don't know anything, we don't respect anything, we don't love anything, we hate everything. We are basically the feeding tubes are figurative now, and it's only a matter of time before they become literal. We are simply having content shoved down our gullets. We are experiencing content at all times, but we are not experiencing art. the way that I think is appropriate, because our culture simply doesn't exist anymore. We don't cherish anything, and therefore we can't be challenged by something. And because we don't cherish what we have, we are incredibly narcissistic, and we have become incredibly myopic.
Mm-hmm.
There is no community anymore. There is only my desire to be heard and seen, my desire to be intellectually superior, my desire to be known as having the opinion, my desire to be an influencer, my desire to be a thought leader, my desire to be the head of the cult. Everybody wants to run the cult now. Everybody wants to be at top now. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to discuss. And this is a generalization, but you understand.
A lot of this conversation has been generalizations.
We're falling into ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only getting worse when we can't drive, when we can't fly, when we can't leave, when we're afraid to express ourselves externally. We'll fall into ourselves, and this will seem like the halcyon days. My desire to be an influence. I don't want to be. I have to be right. You have to be right. Everybody has to be right at all times, for clout, and
everyone kind of wants that history will be kind to me moment.
I don't even know if they need history to be kind to them. They just need to be heard and seen.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter whether that's good or bad. And we just don't. I love arguing about a movie.
Yeah.
I probably won't change my mind, but I think that's why art rules.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I didn't like 28 Years Later. I thought that was a very silly, unnecessary.
We had a long conversation about it.
Yeah. But I'm glad it exists.
Yeah.
And I love, like I was talking today about Interstellar. I think Interstellar is stupid. But I was talking to somebody who thinks it's rapturous. And he's right. But I'm also right for the reasons that I think I'm right, but he's right for the reasons that he thinks he's right. And I agree with him on some things, and you're going to agree with me on some things because I'm right. I think that it's this desire to be right all the time, and this desire to, like, not only that, but like, I need you to tell me I'm right, and if you don't tell me I'm right, you're wrong and bad. It's just, but it comes down to a shared reality. But the end of this is it all comes down to a shared reality that we don't have anymore. And so everybody is kind of like divvying off, like dividing themselves into their own little tiny realities. And they cultivate whatever that reality, curate that reality, and it's to stay safe, to stay physically and intellectually and emotionally safe. You close yourself off from other opinions and thoughts, and you reject all oppositional things. And I get that, but it's just a deeply unhealthy and unsatisfying way of being alive.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So, before we end this for good, not for good, but for the night, since I know, much like myself, you still read film criticism, though I think it's becoming harder to really track down interesting voices within the world of film and film culture, because so many websites and new local newspapers and magazines are just trying to keep the fucking doors open, so they're not putting much stock into voices. Like, once upon a time, every little fucking penny saver newspaper had a fucking local film critic. Who are some of the critics that you find yourself responding to?
I honestly, who do I listen to for film criticism? What I do now is I just kind of, there's no one. There's no specific person whose opinions I look to anymore. Because
you don't necessarily have to look to it, but just opinions that you enjoy reading.
YouTube is where I generally get film analysis now.
Okay. Well, I know
And so
we
there
both...
is a YouTube channel called Stories of Old that I really enjoy. Cinema Sticks is someone who I really enjoy. Obviously Patrick Willems. I hate watch The Critical Drinker. I think that that is a person who is at the forefront of the denigration of the form. Because he weaponizes eloquence to give incredibly shallow critiques of movies he doesn't understand, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love to get mad at an accent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It took me a little bit to get on the YouTube bandwagon, because like when I was first kind of looking at YouTube as a place that you might be able to get interested in film voices, the place that was recommended to me the most was Red Letter Media, and even though they are some local boys and I love them for that, I really don't get into them. I feel like even though they can have some really well thought out ideas, they sometimes come off a little bit more snarky internet fanboy than I enjoy. But
sure,
I don't degrade anyone who likes their stuff.
I'll tell you one of my favorites actual film analysis channels is a guy named Filmento. Generally it's an analysis of why something is a failure, and he has a real insightful, his takes are very insightful dissections of narrative.
Definitely will have to take a look at that.
Filmento, yeah. So those are the guys, Stories of Old, Cinema Sticks, people who are genuinely moved by the work that they're analyzing, and aren't just regurgitating like the Wikipedia trivia page,
Yes.
who are truly looking at what makes a movie tick and successes and failures of those. I, of course, have to recommend my film analysis program, the Dead-Eyed Millennial Film Club, that I do with my partner, Becky. I think we've got some really good conversations about some films, especially Pain and Gain, which might be one of my favorite episodes. So you can look for that at the Dead-Eyed Millennial Film Club.
I love that
wherever podcasts are.
And I've listened to that episode actually twice.
The Pain and Gain one?
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Just a big fan of it.
But like those the guys, people who are really just like who are coming at it from a narrative standpoint, who are coming at it from a classical standpoint, like they're interpreting it like one would with literature. Yeah, those are the people that I like. I don't read a lot of if I'm reading criticism, Plex is my favorite because it kind of compiles all reviews into this easily scrollable database
honestly,
right below the descriptions, and I like going through them and just reading.
That's one of the reasons I still use Rotten Tomatoes. I don't necessarily look at the aggregate scores, but I like that I can it'll just pull up a lot of current film critics and allow me to kind of click through. It's like, oh, they make it, their little blurb is interesting. Let me see what they have to say about the rest of the film. It's
right.
just it's people forget that Rotten Tomatoes is not necessarily a score, it's an aggregate. And I think it still has its benefits. I'll throw out some critics that I enjoy, one of them being David Ehrlich. He writes for, I believe, IndieWire. First got on his radar because of his yearly end of the year videos that he makes. They're always really well put together. Started reading his writing, and I just really like his viewpoint, even if I don't agree with him. BJ Colangelo, who writes for Slash Film, she's fantastic. I've been following her since her blog, Day of the Woman. She also has a really great film podcast with her partner, Harmony Colangelo, called This Ends at Prom, where they primarily discuss coming-of-age films. And then I also really like, let's see, Big fan of Nathaniel Thompson, who writes for Mondo Digital. He's not necessarily a new voice, but I think he's a very consistent voice. Yeah, I get I love reading his reviews, but honestly, I get a lot of stuff from DVD and Blu-ray commentary tracks, and I love commentary tracks. I love video essays because once again, I feel like film should not be enjoyed in a bubble, and I do think historical context and context in general is important. So I'm a big fan of what a lot of these these boutique Blu-ray companies are doing with in terms of commentary tracks, visual essays, and the like. And I think now I know not everyone is a big fan of those, but I feel like we are just ignoring an important part of film culture by not engaging with that type of media.
And like, I don't want to like, I will end on a more hopeful note. I think that I think it's a time to be cynical. I think that we're in a cynical place right now, just as like widely, broadly. But the other side of the shiny coin is that because of the craven nature of capitalism, because they have closed ranks and started treating consumers as disposable chattel, right? People have started needing boutique DVD, Blu-ray, 4K sources. People have invested in buying the films again and interacting with the things that they own again, listening to the commentary, watching how the things are made, learning about the from the foundations all the way up to the full the full house of the thing that they're making. Learning about the origins of the creation of the thing that you love and or hate. Actually interacting with and enjoying the complexity of your product. And I think a lot of people are doing that. And I think that if there is a big swing in that direction and we keep moving in that direction, I feel like a lot of this, I like to believe, and I'm hopeful that a lot of this will calm itself and we'll find ourselves back in kind of an intellectual equilibrium at some point in the near future. I think that we are as in the extremities of almost everything at this very moment. And it's incredibly difficult to remain sane about anything, let alone our movies. And some people are using, like we said before, people are using their opinions about simple movies to be their only weapon against people and circumstance. So I think that people there's an entire generation of kids who are like buying physical media again, and the people are going back to physical media and going back to so there's another side of it. Is the point is like the side that we're talking about was just something that irritated me in the wake of one of the best cinema years for cinema that I've experienced in a long time. And I found it incredibly, like, it's rude. It's rude not to be grateful. It's rude not to appreciate the gifts that you've been given. You know what I mean? Get some whimsy in your life.
Yeah.
Look around you and love what you've been given. Love the idea that there are so many great artists out here still churning out incredible material year after year, movie after movie. One of the things that I didn't get to the point of, and I'll keep it very brief, and I just want to make a thing that has happened over the last like half decade or so is that people talking about a thing has been deemed as harmful as the thing itself. Because I was thinking about Killers of the Flower Moon and One Battle After Another together, where there's kind of like people are mad because somebody that they don't like has decided to say something about a thing that's important. And people have decided to say that they're not allowed to talk about that thing because of who they are. When it's like, but nobody was talking about it before. So I'd rather that we be talking about it. I don't really care where it comes from, but we need to be talking about these historical events.
Yeah.
And if a person who looks like Martin Scorsese a person who looks like Paul Thomas Anderson are the only people that can get funding for that thing to talk about the event, to talk about the thing that people need to be talking about, then we need to let them get the money and talk about the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And not be mad at the system and the process, or to be mad at maybe the process or the system.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make the art bad. There can't be only bad. There can be only good.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, I think that there's another side to this, and we'll get to it eventually. And I'm hoping at least. Because and the solution just might be I need to break my computer in half. Stop interacting with the stuff.
Very well could be. But yeah, I think this has been a really great conversation, Jason.
This is good. This has been good. Yeah.
Do you feel cleansed? Do you feel like you healed something in yourself?
I feel more self-righteous than I ever have, more powerful in my beliefs and in my righteousness, more resolute in the knowledge that I am right than I've ever been. And I await your comments telling me I'm not.
No, I think this was a great conversation.
We need the engagement.
We've been engaging.
Guys, this
for
is
an
just
hour and
content.
a half.
Yeah. This is just content, guys. We just needed to put something out so the algorithm pushes us out there so we get those sweet, sweet likes.
Yeah. I was hoping that this one doesn't even just partially as good as our Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, yeah. This has been a great conversation. # John Leguizamo.
Yeah. Let's just throw that on there. Just start hashtagging John Leguizamo. He's been officially mentioned in this podcast, so that I think counts. All right,
yeah,
Jason.
He's our mascot.
Where can people find you if they want to follow?
You can find me on
you.
Instagram at Lemon Hill Studios. That is LMNHILL Studios. Like I said before, you can hear my thoughts on film at the Dead-Eyed Millennial Film Club. I'm on Threads, Lemon Hill Studios. I'm on Facebook under Jason Hillman. I mean, you can find me everywhere. You can just type my name into Google and find me. I am a photographer. I run a studio. Would love to have you in the studio. If you feel like coming in and just arguing with me about this podcast.
Yeah. And Jason's taken some of my favorite photos of myself that I've ever had taken. So
here's the thing: is that it's just that I'm good at stuff, and so therefore I'm qualified to have an opinion.
Yeah.
But you can find me at all those places that I said. I can't wait to talk to you, to see you there. Thanks for listening.
And at this point, everyone listening should know where to find me, but I'm Michael_Viers or Shameless Picture Show at pretty much every form of social media. You can find me on, I don't know why I'm on TikTok still at this point. I'm probably going to get rid of it because I get no views there anymore. But I'm on there talking about aspect ratios. But you know what? You can find me on Instagram. I get way more views on Instagram, reviewing discs, posting shit that I'm watching, occasionally posting pictures of the dogs. You guys can find me on there. But we appreciate y'all listening, and we hope to get you here next time. Shame place, Shameless Picture Show.
The Shameless Picture Show is a proud member of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network. The show is recorded in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and is hosted and produced by Michael Viers. The show was created by Nicholas Richards and Michael Viers, and the show is edited by Austin Proctor of the Frightmares podcast. Amanda Viers is the show's graphic designer and a big help behind the scenes. Our theme music was written specifically for us by Austin Proctor, with narration by yours truly, Nick Richards. The end credit music you're currently enjoying was generously provided to us by the band 10 Speed. An extra special thank you to all of our Patreon supporters and our generous sponsors. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio. For more information, be sure to check out someone'sfavoriteproductions.com.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description